What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we're going to be reviewing the Heavy Firepower expansion for G.I. Joe Mission Critical, published by Renegade Game Studios and designed by T.C Petty III, based on the Guardian system designed by Jonathan Ying. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who will tell you more about the game itself.
Well, first, we'd like to thank Renegade Games for this review copy. Thanks for thinking of us and supporting the channel. But we'd like to remind our viewers that our opinion will remain our own. So this is a cooperative game that is for 1 to 1 to 5 players.
It does say 2 to 5, but you can always play a cooperative game solo.
That's what I was going to say. And it says to 5, but we play at 6. Jason will touch on that. It's for ages 14 and above, and it plays in about 60 to 90 minutes.
So with regards to us playing this game at 6 players, we do have Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. We play the Guardian system at 6 players. There are rules and components, as you can see, to play the game at 6, so we've decided to play it at 6 players. Also gives us more of a chance to experience all of the different G.I. Joes. The rules do not contain the 6-player rules. I do not know if that was an omission or a mistake, but you can always find them in the rulebook for Heroes of the Grid, and both games are fully compatible. So what will you be doing with the Heavy Firepower expansion? Well, you're going to get some new Joes joining the team. You're going to get Gung Ho. Julie's got Bomb Strike set up in front of her, and we've already played as Roadblock. You also get a new big bad villain in terms of Destro, and a new lieutenant, which is Scrap Iron. You'll then be moving around the board just like you would be in the base game, fighting the foot soldiers, knocking on the lieutenants, and working your way up to the boss, hopefully before all the locations become panicked or before you have no lives left. That's one of the things that happens at 6 players. You do not have any energy in the pit, so if you die, you die. That's the end of the game. I don't think I missed anything at all, Julie. So work together, save the world. You got the gist of it. On that note, we're now going to
grab our drink,
grab our fellow Joe,
and we're going to take it to the table one more time.
One more time. Let's kick butt.
Hopefully Bomb Strike is cool.
I hope so. Now we can take a quick look at the components for the Heavy Fire expansion for G.I. Joe Mission Critical. So here we've got the sheet that comes with it. It's really just a list of the components. So Blast from the Past, telling you get 3 new hero figures, 2 Cobra figures, 3 vehicles, character cards, combat cards, enemy cards, and the deployment cards. And then just some details about some of the characters at the bottom. And then the credits for the expansion on the back. So we'll start by taking a look at the hero characters. You get Roadblock, Marvin F. Hinton. Special abilities, heavy weapons. Once per battle, when an enemy card is defeated, you may spend 1 energy to deal the excess damage from that card to an adjacent card. Here we've got Bomb Strike, Alyssa Arstal, forward air control. Once per battle, after a vehicle without the passive keyword is used, you may return it to the power board instead of discarding it. Gung Ho, the Jungle Specialist. Once per battle, when you reveal a star ability for defense, you may resolve that ability an additional time. Now we'll take a look at the vehicles. We get the Falcon, the glider. Use this card when any hero performs an attack to ignore the guard keyword while choosing a target. Pretty cool. Only costs 2 foot soldiers to use. 6. Deal 1 damage to each enemy card for the Dragonfly. Pretty cool. And this one costs 3, the Shark. Until the end of this battle, each time a hero suffers damage, they may choose 1 card in their hand and place it on top of their deck. So that is pretty cool. We'll take a look at the miniatures. So here we've got Roadblock with his giant gun. Gung Ho. And these minis are fairly detailed. They look really good. Bomb Strike. The Heroes of the Grid minis have less detail. Some of them have quite a bit, and I think they've done a really good job with the scale of these ones. We got Destro. And then here we've got Scrap Iron. So let's take a quick look at the cards. We're not going to go through all of them. So Suppressing Fire, 0 energy card, 2 attack. The next time any hero suffers damage, reduce the damage by 1. Flush them out, 3 card attack. You can ignore a card. Oh no, sorry, you can add 1 die to the attack. Some cool reaction cards, immovable object, maneuver, gain 1 energy, and each hero may place 1 card in their hand on top of their deck. his big bad energy cannon. So the 5-die attack. After you resolve this attack, the target was defeated. The excess damage goes to an enemy of your choice. And then everyone's got this kind of thing, Fight for Freedom. After you resolve this attack, you may spend 1 energy to allow another hero to immediately play 1 card with an energy cost of 0. So pretty cool. Let's take a look at what we got for Gung Ho. His Bayou Brawler, 0 cost, 2 energy, and it's got a star. If this card is revealed for defense, deal 1 damage to an enemy card of your choice. Pretty cool. Fearless Charge. After you resolve this attack, you may choose 1 card with a star ability from your discard pile, put on top of your deck. Let's find his big bad one, the Grenade Launcher. 5-die attack. If this card is revealed for defense, you may discard 1 card from your hand to roll 2 dice and deal that much damage to an enemy card of your choice. And then once again, another Fight for Freedom. Here we've got Bomb Strikes cards. So way ahead of you, 2-die attack. If there are at least 4 foot soldiers on the power board, you may either gain an energy or add 1 die to this attack. Locked on. 3 dice. If this attack defeats a target, place 1 foot soldier figure from the supply onto the power board. Pretty cool. UAV maneuver. Remove 1 foot soldier from another location. Put on the power board. I like that. Targeted airstrike. 6-die attack. You may remove up to 3 foot soldiers from the power board to reduce the energy cost of this card by an equal amount. You may play this card in any battle regardless of the location. That is very cool. So I really like that. So there you've got Bomb Strike. Now we'll look at Destro. Here we've got Destro's card. Surrender or Face Extinction. 5 health card. Deal 2 damage to each hero. Increase the damage by 1 for each damage on Destro card, including this one. That's really annoying. Illicit Weapons Dealer. It's got guard and passive. While this card is in play, each time a hero resolves an attack targeting this card, deal 3 damage to that hero. Oof. He's definitely annoying. Impenetrable Chrome. While this card is in play, each time a hero deals any amount of damage to another Destro card, reduce it by 1. It's foolish to resist. Drain 2 energy. If another Destro card has suffered damage or been defeated, you drain 4 instead. So that's his cards. And then next we've got Scrap Iron. So his cards there. Armor Piercing Rounds. Half the heroes in this battle rounded up, discard the top card of their deck, then deal 2 damage to each of those heroes. Very obnoxious. Laser Guided Brilliant Weapon. 1 hero reveals the top card of their deck. If that card has a shield value of 2, it is discarded. Otherwise, the card is discarded. Otherwise, the card is discarded, and this ability is resolved again. Ouch. Limitless Ammunition. While this card is in play, heroes cannot attack any Scrap Iron cards other than Limitless Ammunition. That's really annoying. Peerless Inventor. While this card is in play, reduce the armor value of all cards by 1. So definitely seems like we've got some fairly challenging lieutenants. Really looking forward to really diving in. I haven't sleeved the cards yet, so I'm filming this before actually getting to the table. So you're getting a little bit of behind the scenes info. On that note, I'll be coming back at you with Julie with our review of this expansion. So Julie, what did you think of the heavy firepower expansion for G.I. Joe Mission Critical? We've talked a little bit about this off camera, so I think I know where she's going with this, but we're going to hear it all at the same time because she's been a little coy about her thoughts.
Bomb Strikes, a must-have. I think I could sum it up there. I mean, just with Bomb Strike, I think she makes such of a difference. Her power basically, once per battle, after a vehicle without a passive keyword is used, you may return it to the power board instead of discarding it. Clutch.
Especially when you get some of your best vehicles early on in the game. You can keep using that in every fight against every lieutenant. We used the Mobat how many times? And it was just great to take out a card pretty much right off the bat.
Yeah, so she's clutch. I mean, even if it's just for that character, almost, I'd say it's worth it. The others were okay, but she stands out.
Yeah, Bomb Strike stands out the most. I found that Gung Ho really pairs well with Stalker when we were fighting against Destro, which we'll talk about in a moment. Like, these 2 abilities chain together, and we defeated a card without having to do a single attack because they were able to stack 4 damage on it, which was pretty ridiculous. I must admit. Well, so I don't think it was just the 2 of them. Snake Eyes helped out a bit because, you know, he just still is by far the best character. And we played with Roadblock previously. Now, I haven't played Bomb Strike, Julie hasn't played Gung Ho, and we both enjoyed Roadblock. His ability was pretty cool. The fact that his big cannon can essentially spill damage over onto other cards, depending on the vehicles that you have out and any modifications that you can do. So pairing him with Duke, getting a reroll, adding 3 dice, so throwing 8 dice that you can essentially reroll and spill onto another card is incredibly powerful. All these characters I find just take the characters in the core box, pair very well with them, and bring the game up to the level I would have liked to have seen from the core box itself when we're talking about the Joes.
Yeah, but the last boss was, I don't know if it's just the way the cards came up, but he was kind of a wimp.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very disappointed in Destro's cards. And one of the main reasons is he does not have any fast cards, so there really wasn't all that much pressure on us to defeat him. It could also be because, as I have mentioned during our intro, I'm mentioning it again now, we are using the 6-player variant rules from Heroes of the Grid because we're trying to play the most amount of characters. Also, that's just how Julie and I play the Guardian system together, and we're not going to change that. He didn't really stand much of a chance. Having access to the Mobat right off the bat, taking out one of his cards, not having him go first, having the Arashikage Blade, so Snake Eyes taking out pretty much 2 of his cards, Stalker and Gung-Ho making short work of some of his cards. It just really wasn't a threat. Now, we also did get a little bit of a weird spawn where there was no foot soldiers that spawned with him, only 2, because we had some horrendous spawns earlier on in the game. So that may have affected it a little bit because there was no opportunity for him to go fast. But his cards were really more like 4 or 5 health, with only one of them having a big health amount. So it wasn't like there was all that much to overcome.
No, and I mean, if it was just for him, if that was the only expansion, I'd say this is a pass. But, given Bomb Strike, I think it's, if you enjoy G.I. Joe and you have the base box, I think you definitely want to get this expansion, even just for her.
Yeah, I think this expansion is essentially a must-have just because of the characters. Now, I don't think that's necessarily going to affect the way that we rate this expansion because Destro is so lackluster, and I really don't know why. I thought he'd be much more of a threat. His cards and his effects really seemed cool, but they just never came to the forefront. Scrap Iron was fairly interesting, but once again, he didn't have too many fast cards as well, so it wasn't really much of a threat to the combo that we're able to put together. I do feel like these characters could be much more of a threat if you're playing at lower player counts, just because their cards do a lot of nasty things, and you won't have as many resources to keep hitting them over the head. Now, that being said, if you're going from 6 to 5, I don't think they'd be that much more challenging, especially depending on what you have on the board. As Julie mentioned, with Bomb Strike and the Mobat and the ability to reuse some of the best vehicles, they really didn't pose that much problem at all. I really don't have much more to add. I really think that we're seeing G.I. Joe Mission Critical come together at this point. We both mentioned that the core box wasn't necessarily a favorite, a good start. And if things continue on, and I don't know if you want to speak to this as well, I think the game is going to be just as good as Heroes of the Grid.
Wow, that's saying a lot from you.
Sorry. It could be just as good as Heroes of the Grid. I still like the team play that the Ranger teams all have together, but we're starting to see that with the Joes, and that's something that is very encouraging. So I think the game is off to a solid start.
So why don't you give it its rating?
On that note, I'm going to give this a 7. Now, it almost went higher because I love the Joes so much, but the fact that the villains in this box really don't add that much variety to it, so much so that I don't know if I really want to play against them again. That just really knocked it down a full point, because this was almost an 8.0 of an expansion for me, because this really brought the potential of Mission Critical together. And I can totally understand why this was like the pledge that Renegade was pushing you towards during the Kickstarter. They wanted you to get the full experience.
This is 7 for me as well, based on Bomb Strike.
Yeah, she's really good. So we haven't said it enough. We said it again.
So that being said, it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have new content for you.
And take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see some pictures of Julie and I playing G.I. Joe Mission Critical, they're plenty on those feeds. Also down there is a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Looking to pick up Mission Critical, Heroes of the Grid, or any other games by Renegade Games, make sure to click that link. you get 10% off your next purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel, as a portion of that purchase will be returned to us. And now popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. In front of me will be our most recent release, and in front of Julie, it's going to take you back to our review on how to play of G.I. Joe Mission Critical. On that note, we're now going to
grab our drink,
grab our fellow Joe
or Jane.
I'm going to remind you to keep playing games.